What's up, YouTube? DJ here with Tim's Nation, bringing you a Necron's perspective on the Ark of Omens news and rumors we've seen popping up recently. I just finished watching Death or Glory's Meta Monday YouTube live stream, and there was some news and information that came out there, so I figured I'd bring it all together and put together a short video for you guys on what I see so far as a Necron player. I'll be putting out two other videos today, one for Grey Knights and one for Admech. If you're interested, take a look at those. A link to Death or Glory's full YouTube live stream will be in the description below. And please, if you haven't already, like, share, or subscribe. Let's jump right into it. Armor of Contempt is gone. This is going to be huge for us and many armies, that our AP1 weapons will matter again. Things such as Gauze Flayers or Novak being able to give AP1 to Scarabs are actually going to matter again. AP1 is not a distant value that doesn't matter or a stepping stone into AP2 for some units. Now those AP1 weapons will matter again. Flyers do not start on board. Whether this is army-wide and game-wide or just specific to the Tau faction, Tom was making some comments and mentionings that the Flyers are not going to be starting on the board. I believe it was Tom who said it. And is that just for Tau, or is that going to be every single flyer? I hope it's for every flyer, because then that means things like our Night Scythes and our Doom Scythes, or specifically the Night Scythe, can come on and then use the stratagem at the end of movement phase to bring a unit on within its range and still be closer for a charge. This means things like Lich Guard with two-handed halberds that could do 2 damage apiece and stuff like that might actually have a little bit of room and a little bit of play out of these things. Now being able to teleport down for a stratagem and some command points. The easier soup doesn't really affect us. We don't have allies. But something I want to touch on, we are only looking at 2 detachments so far. The Ark of Omens detachment, which is basically everything, and then a patrol detachment that is simply just for allies. So it might give you some ideas as far as some matchups and things that you're looking at or concerned getting into. Now, with all this being said, some of my first perspective on the Necrons entirely is like what we have right now and what we're looking at and what works for us, and et cetera, et cetera. I have never been a fan of the Satans. Right now, I'm super excited to run them, because where before we were looking at spending 2 CP to take a patrol to be able to get a second CTAN, then one CP to be able to change the second CTAN's power from whatever you gave it to Sky of Falling Stars to have double Sky of Falling Stars. Now it is just 2 CP, 1 to override the 1 per detachment rule, and 1 to do the swap out for Sky of Falling Stars at the beginning of the game. So that makes it much more affordable in that single detachment. It also takes a lot more of the tax away from them for having to take maybe a troop unit like a 5-man squad of Immortals. One thing to definitely watch out for when doing army construction, that Brad Chester made a couple comments on the plasma intercessors making a return. Anyone who played Necrons at the beginning of the edition when we first got a book, plasma intercessors were harsh on a lot of our units and were able to damage a lot of our destroyer units very easily. So an easy way around this, don't build all the way into the 6-man, keep it at a 5-man. Now they don't get the automatic 3 shots each time on the blast, because the plasma intercessor pistol is a blast weapon, so they would get max shots of 3 shots per gun, 2 guns on each guys, so 6 shots per plasma intercessor coming through and ripping our guys to shreds. Dropping down to 5 means you can reduce the number of shots they get and spread out the unit's love a little more. Maybe instead of taking 2 6-man score packs, you cut a couple points and take 3 5-man. Just a small recommendation on that. We don't know very much about the Necron secondaries, but one comment that Brad did make was that Necrons are still going to be doing what they were doing before, as far as what we see. So that means with the point decreases, point increases, any data slate transfer changes and stuff like that, there's nothing that's going to mess with our army too much. Maybe we'll get a couple things cheaper, maybe a couple of things that go up in points. I hope not. But this is definitely going to be, we're safe right now for the units that we love, and the units we've been using are still going to be valid and still going to be valuable. Those are my first thoughts. I'm going to go work on a roster for tonight's game. I'm bringing double C-Tan and no Silent King in a 1,500-point matchup against my good buddy Aaron. So look for that video later tonight. I got a Grey Knight and AdMech video coming out here in a little bit, doing the same retrospective on them. And please, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. Check out Death of Glory's Meta Monday, and I'll talk to you again soon.